This is Texans TV.
Well, hello there. How you doing? Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving week. My name's Drew Doherty. This is The Playbook, and we are going to have a fun show because we're giving away turkeys. We're going to hear from Jimmie Ward as part of the shuffle, and the general manager, Nick Caserio, will join us. But we begin today's program with a one-on-two. DeMeco Ryans, the head coach, talking with voice of the Texans, Marc Vandermeer, and radio sideline reporter, John Harris. Here's part of that conversation.
Joining us in studio is head coach DeMeco Ryans. Coach, how's it going? Good to see you.
Good to see you guys as well.
Happy Thanksgiving week. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's review a little bit about what happened against Tennessee. And I know you want the guys playing loose and making plays like they did. How do you balance that out with trying to correct some of the mistakes at the same time, but keep that big play-making ability?
Yeah, we had a lot of explosive plays being made. I mean, no bigger Damian opening the game with a big return, what we wanted to do in the return game. We knew it was there for us. So for him to get the explosive, Cade to get the touchdown, what a way to open the game. Yeah. There are a lot more explosive plays that we made with Nico, with Tank. Like, we have the explosive playmakers, right? Mm-hmm. We can protect it and give us the opportunity to have those plays, but we just have to make sure we clean up all the things in between. Mm-hmm. And all of those things, when it comes to the mistakes and things that happen for us, is all things that we can control. And I'm encouraged by when I watch the tape and showing our guys, like, man, everything that happened that was a negative, it was something that we did to ourselves. It wasn't anything, no slight to the Titans. They did a good job of finishing and winning the game, but a lot of the things we can control, we can clean up, and we have to clean that up moving forward. And I'm excited to see our guys, take ownership of it and make it happen in Jacksonville.
Coach Danielle Hunter, the last two games, 5 sacks, 8 TFLs, maybe so, something along those lines. It's been an unbelievable performance, what he's given you off the edge. When you went back and watched the film, was it as dominant on film as it looked from what we were watching it live? Did it look that dominant the way he played yesterday?
This was Danielle's best game he's had thus far this year. It was extremely dominant, and that's what I would love to be highlighting.
Yeah,
right today. It's just the performance that he had, like the rushes that he had. Not only the rushes, everybody sees the sacks and those things that happen, but and the way he played in the run game, the way his effort to the football, it was just a phenomenal effort by him, phenomenal game by him. Would love to be giving him a game ball right now for what he did, but he continues to wreak havoc for us, and just, man, so excited to have him on our side. Such a great signing for us, and he's shown up and proven to be that impact player that we knew he was.
Along those lines, Coach, how are you seeing teams start to adjust for him? Because obviously you've got other guys that can get to the quarterback as well from a lot of different spots. But how are you seeing teams change? Okay, that's 55. Okay, we got to do some different things to maybe account for him. Well,
we try to move those guys around a lot. We try to move Danielle and Will to different sides. But what you see teams do is they'll try to get a tight end or running back in, and they'll try to, what we call, chip them. Yep. So they'll try to give them a shot in the chest to slow them down a little bit. But even sometimes on the chips, we kind of convert those chips into a game on the inside, and Danielle and Will have been doing a really good job of not allowing the chip just to stall their rush, but they're still continuing to press forward and get after the quarterback, even though we're seeing a lot more chips than we've seen earlier in the year.
Yeah, you're able to get all those sacks, Coach, but I know you want to do a better job against the run by and large. So what were some of the difficulties you were having in that aspect?
Yeah, in the run game where, Pollard got out on us, a lot of the runs were on the perimeter where we have to set the edge much better. And a lot of those runs, they did a good job schematically of pinning our defensive end, and now they're getting offensive linemen out on our corner. And the corner has to step up, even though it's a bigger body guy. You still have to step up and just keep your outside arm free and turn the ball back inside to the rest of the other 10 defenders. And so we got a couple runs out like that, and a couple of the inside runs we just didn't tackle well. One, we were backed up. We had Pollard, tackle behind the line of scrimmage, and felt like there was just a little let up where somebody else thought he was down, or you thought the other guy made the play. But as I try to teach our guys, you always have to finish. Like, you make sure you wrap up, secure the tackle, and make sure that we finish him. So some missed tackles there that we can clean up, and some perimeter runs where he got the edge on us.
Coach, I don't know if what I'm about to say is a good thing or a bad thing, but I'll let you kind of run with it. Will Levis threw for 278 yards yesterday. 198 of those yards came on 4 pass plays. So he had those 4 completions, and you gave us some big pass plays, but basically the rest of the game he had 80 yards passing. How do you kind of look at something like that where he did get some explosive plays, but basically everything else with the rush and with some of the coverage, you're ever really hold him to 80 yards if you don't have those plays? Fortunately, he did have those plays.
Yeah, he did have those plays, and I give credit to Levis. That was his strong suit of throwing the ball deep, and our guys knew that going into the game, but we give up 1 touchdown there once they cross midfield. I mean, we got a guy running free. Our coverage isn't right. We're not deep enough on the inside, and the guy is free on our safety. And another one on 3rd down, we get him in the 3rd and long situation, and, there's Ridley running across the field. Like the rush there, that was the one play our rush wasn't as effective. Like probably one of our worst rushes of the game from a D-line perspective. Gave Levis a little bit more time. He puts the ball in the air, and we're not deep enough at the safety position, allow him to get a big play. Yeah. So, most of those plays, I try to give him credit, but a lot of those are things where we just have to be in better position, and we have to be able to make the play when the ball is in the air.
You mentioned opening the game with the big kickoff return. Then you find Stover right away in the end zone. Great to see the rookie get his first career touchdown and all of that. Great start to that game. And CJ made numerous other good throws in the game, but sometimes, obviously, it wasn't there as far as was it pass protection or just the opportunities didn't present themselves in the passing game to score as much as you wanted to?
Yeah, we had a lot of opportunities, and when it came down to it in the passing game, like there were some misses that we would like to have back. A couple, like the 3rd down miss, the 2 turnovers. Like we would like to have those throws back. Those are throws I know. And I told CJ today, I trust that he'll make those throws 100% of the time. I put him back in the same situation again, and I know he'll make those throws because I believe in who he is as a person, and I believe in the talent that he has as a quarterback leading our team. So some unfortunate mistakes that happened there with the ball placement. But, for us, and I tell CJ, you keep going, right? You keep going after it. You keep punching, keep playing aggressive, and we'll make those throws. I thought the O-line did a good job of protecting for the most part. We had a couple, miscues there. We got beat, but for the most part, we held up in protection, and we had time.
Coach, the last couple of games, we've had Nico back, and unfortunately for the 2nd straight game, he has a touchdown called back. But it just feels better when he's in the lineup. I'm sure you probably feel the same way.
Tell me about it.
Because he can catch that dig route.
Yeah.
I think he caught it probably about the 20-yard line, and it's like, boom, he hit the boosters, and he was in the end zone. And also, you got the lead. Of course, there was a penalty on that play. But what is he giving your offense being back? Not just the numbers, but just being out there and the threat that he possesses against the defense.
Yeah, he's going to garner the attention of 2 guys. They have to make sure they account for Nico. Man, and people fall asleep on how fast Nico is. Like he's a big receiver, big target, but man, he has some wheels, so he can roll. And there's just having that threat of the deep playability. It opens up a lot of the intermediate throws in the middle of the field that we're able to connect on. Like we caught one with Tank going across the middle. So Nico just opens up the entire offense, and not only the deep threat, but you can give him a screen and he can take that to the house as well. It's just a unbelievable talent, man. He's having a outstanding year. We just got to make sure his touchdowns count. Let's not hurt ourselves. Make sure his touchdowns count by just playing cleaner football.
You talked about the running game in your press conference a little bit, Coach. And is it kind of a chicken and egg thing? You got to be better on 3rd down so you get more opportunities to run the football, get more snaps, more attempts at it. Is it that kind of thing in a way?
Yeah, it is. When we're running the football, we have to be able to control the line of scrimmage. And yesterday, we did not control the line of scrimmage, right? We wanted to press the ball outside. We didn't handle the edges well enough to get the ball outside. So you saw Joe putting a foot in the ground and cutting back. Well, we're cutting back right into the teeth of their defense, into the strong part of their defense where both of their D tackles are. So, we're not going to have a lot running versus those 2 guys. So we just didn't execute on the edge the proper way, and we didn't stay on the second level well enough. We didn't sustain our blocks, and now you end up you're 2nd and long, right? You're 3rd and long, and now you're fighting that uphill battle again because now you have to run deeper routes. You have to protect a little bit longer, and now they're able to put more guys in coverage, and it's hard to win those down. So we got to be able to stay in third and manageable, or stay out of third down. That's where I want to be, staying out of third down and, getting those more positive plays on first down. But too many times yesterday where we go out, we have a big play, we have a positive throw completion on first down, and we turn around and we're going backwards. So we just have to eliminate the backward plays.
Coach, we talk about this all the time, the 24-hour rule, dealing with wins. Hey, you got 24 hours. And you also talk about it with losses. But in a loss, and we've gotten to know you, or Marc's known you for a little bit longer than I have, but I've got to know you. I know that the game, you're always thinking about it. How tough is it to actually apply the 24-hour rule and really let it go before you move on and get ready for the Jacksonville Jaguars? How tough is it to really, is it really 24 hours? Do you have to, say, okay, I got to get my mind on something else. I got to do something else, so I've got this one behind me. How tough is it to kind of apply that rule for yourself?
Oh, this is extremely tough, and I'm not letting this one go. This will be a week-long one that I make sure we all remember. And so, we gotta change. We gotta play better. Right. So this one is gonna sit with me all week until we get the opportunity to go out and compete again versus the Jaguars. So I want this to sit. I want this to sting all week for our guys, and I want everybody to feel. I know that's how I'm going to be feeling all week until we are able to go and change it.
After a quick timeout, more from Coach Ryans.
Texans Playbook is sponsored by Community Coffee, strong as our roots, by Reliant, the official energy provider of the Houston Texans, and by your Houston area Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.
Thank you for sticking with us here on Texans Playbook. Here's part 2 of the conversation between DeMeco Ryans and the Texans radio crew.
Team coming off a bye because they do self-scout or whatever else they do. I know they can't go wholesale different, but there are going to be some wrinkles maybe. How do you look at that kind of thing?
For sure. Coming off a bye, you do have the advantage. Being the team that's on the bye, you have an advantage to look at yourself, see kind of like you say, self-scout, to see things where you can improve, things you can change. And they had a little extra time to watch us, right? And so a little extra time to scout us and see where we're weak, what areas they can try to attack us in. So you really have to be on it. Nothing different for us to do. We just got to go out and execute. But for them, they may have some more wrinkles. But I always believe in, if we play our rules the proper way, if we execute and we're on the details how we're supposed to be on the details, and it really doesn't matter how much they've studied or how much they watch, they still have to cover 12. And and that's always a difficult matchup no matter what adjustments you make. So
faced him earlier. Now you face him again. Trevor Lawrence hasn't played for a few weeks. I know we talked about it when we faced him the first time and what type of quarterback he is. Now he's been out for a few weeks, and we really don't know if he's going to play or not. He's dealing with the shoulder issue. What are your thoughts about facing potentially Lawrence, but then getting ready for Mac Jones, potentially a quarterback as well?
And for me, as I go in, we're prepared for Trevor. We'll see how the reports go throughout the week, see if he's playing or not. But we have to look at both guys, right? Be ready for Mac and be ready for Trevor. But to me, it's this week, man, I'm not even –
That's not even the word.
It's not even my focal point is who's playing quarterback for Jacksonville. My focal point will be strictly on, the Texans.
You talked about this in your press conference, and I know we've talked about this before, and you talk about defensively in particular. If we play the defense the way it's supposed to be played, we've got answers to the test. How important is it for you as a coaching staff to make sure players understand that, hey, look, there are answers right there. Just apply them properly. I mean, obviously that's the heart of coaching, but then you get this late in the season, bodies are fatigued a little bit, mentally fatigued. How do you make sure that they do run the defense in particular the way you want it?
And that's the thing. You have to overcome that mental fatigue of you're doing the same thing. It kind of get monotonous over and over again, and get a little relaxed in this area, and I decide to, let's say, jump a route when I shouldn't be jumping a route, or I decide to not get as much depth when I should be deep. And those just come back to bite you. It's nothing that I always look at. It's nothing that the offense did because, we understand the issues and the plays that people will run versus our scheme. A lot of times we see a lot of repeat plays. Yep. So there are other teams that hit plays on us. We'll see those plays again. We call it, copycat offenses. Yep. They'll try to run the same thing because structurally we're not changing defensively. So we work those issue plays. Right. And so we hang our hat on being a stickler for the details and being on it to the point to where we know what the offense is running and we're going to defend it better than you can run it.
Coach, what can you tell the audience about the difference between, say, a Monday team meeting and a Friday team meeting? And I know a Monday team meeting after a loss versus a win, very different, but what can you share with us about those meetings? Because we can't get inside the room.
Yeah, a Monday meeting like today, it's very quiet. It's very quiet meeting today where I go through and I cut out some plays from our game and the entire game, special teams, offense, defense, and I go through just let's call it a rundown of the game in sequential order just to show you guys, okay, what really happened in the game and how did we lose. So I just go play by play, highlighting the good things that happened and also highlighting the bad things. Like, hey, if we were just on this small detail, could have been, I don't know, a potential touchdown for us, right? Or this could have been a potential takeaway for us. So I go through and highlight that. Today I probably had about 50 or 60 plays, a little long-winded in there today, and the guys had to sit through it or suffer through it, however you look at it. And then our Friday meeting is definitely more upbeat, energetic meeting. Friday meetings, we're going kind of around the league, and we're seeing things that happen in the previous week around the league of things we can learn from mistakes other teams made or some really good things teams did that we can highlight, and just so our guys have a really good understanding, a grasp of the game, because there are a lot of situations and things that come up around the league that may not happen in our game or may not happen but only like one time a year, but we get the chance to teach off of that from other teams. So it's more of a teaching meeting. And also in that Friday meeting, we have a third down compete period. And so I put those 4 plays up and go through it, offense, defense, and we highlight, who wins the down, who loses the down. And we always have a little friendly competition amongst the offense and defense for third down.
I love that. Competition, everything you do. When you were a player and you knew you were having one of those Monday meetings where you knew coach was bringing 45 to 50 plays to show you, was that one of those where you're like, man, I hope he missed that third down that I missed? Did you ever have that kind of thought like, man, I blew that third down. I hope he doesn't have to. Oh, there it is. Oh, dang.
Oh, for sure. Your head's down a little bit. Like, hurry up and get past that play as quickly as possible. But it's
it's a teaching moment, of course.
It's a
and now
teaching
you can
moment,
look back
but
at it. It's valuable.
It's always tough as a player. You know it's coming, and you can't. You're waiting on that moment. You just hope it is not as severe as you think it will be. But I always try to do it in a way to make sure I'm encouraging with it, and just, hey, if we were just one step better here, or if we just had our eyes right here, like, just think about what it could have been. Like, I know everybody understands the mistakes, and I don't try to go back and overemphasize the mistake, but I emphasize what we can do different.
Going on the road is one thing, and you've been on the road, but you haven't been on the road in the division since opening day. And there's just something about that, isn't there? When you're facing a division opponent, you just faced a division opponent. You saw what they brought to the table. So what about that aspect of it?
Yeah, excited to get on the road. Excited to get on the road again, especially versus our division opponent and in Jacksonville team. We know this is a big game for us, right? This is one we have to go out. We have to win this game. We have to clean up all of our issues, right, and make sure we go out and play the game the right way. So just so we're able to compete. I think for me is the main thing is getting out of our own way. And let's go and compete, and may the best man win, but let's go out and play Texans brand of football that's operating with precision, effort, and physicality, right? If we do that, that travels on the road, right? One thing I know going on the road, we've ran the ball well for whatever reason it's been. We ran the ball well on the road. So hopefully that shows up. You have to be able to travel with the run game. So let's play well in the run game. Let's play good defense, and let's make this a win for the Texans.
And we're back outside on grass, which is something we don't do
that's
often.
rare, huh?
I know it's really rare in the NFL now. Coach, you mentioned in your press conference, earlier in the game, we lost Jalen Petrie. What what is lost with Jalen, and how do you go about replacing all the different things he did for you?
Yeah, Jalen will be out for a couple weeks with a shoulder injury. Man, it's a gut punch to me. He's a guy that he did so much for me defensively, and what I was able to call, what I was able to do, just with the different things that he was able to do, whether it's blitzing or covering, like fitting in the run, like being a nickel and being able to fit in the run fit. The way he fits in the run fit is just you don't see that much. Yeah. Most people are trying to keep him out of the run fit, but I'm trying to get Jalen into the action as much as possible. He's just been such a dynamic playmaker for us all throughout the year. Yeah. So, we had to pick up the slack there. It's going to be tough. Yep. That's because how active he was and, just how instrumental he was to just how our scheme started to shift and change throughout the year. So we'll pick it up. We'll pick it up and try to hold it down for him as long as he needs to be out. But, man, praying for Jalen to have a speedy recovery.
When we return on Texans Playbook, the general manager and executive vice president, Nick Caserio, joins the program. We're closing the book on the month of November, and now December is upon us. The Texans taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. The general manager and executive vice president, Nick Caserio, went 1-on-2 with the Texans radio boys.
Joining us in studio, it's Executive Vice President and General Manager Nick Caserio. Nick, great to see you. How's it going?
Fellas, morning.
All right, good morning. Hello. And we're in the midst of another big division week, facing the Jaguars Sunday on the road. First time on the road in the division since opening day. Let's talk about the situation here coming off the loss to Tennessee. That kind of heightens the thing a little bit.
Yeah, division games are always of the utmost importance. So regardless of the result on this past Sunday, so all we can do is prepare for what's in front of us, which is Jacksonville. It's hard to believe we haven't played on the road since the opener with Indy. But played a good, pretty good game there the first time against Jacksonville. Kind of came down to the wire. We were able to execute at the end of the game. So that was one of the games we were able to execute. Made some winning plays there at the end. So they're a good football team. We'll talk about them here in a minute. So, whatever happened this past Sunday, in the end, we didn't do enough to win the game against Tennessee. Give them credit. Now we got to get ready for the next opportunity division, which is the Jaguars.
Nick, I always love when you have hard decisions to make, such as a guy like Tommy Togiai. He's been on a practice squad, gets his opportunity because some guys are banged up, and he's doing the most with that opportunity. I don't want you to get into how tough the decision is, but with the fact that he's playing that well, how tough does the decision become? When you have a guy playing like that, you really don't want to take him out of the lineup, even though he's a practice squad guy.
Yeah, it's a good thing about our program. So regardless of where you come from or how you get here or when you get here, if you go in there and take advantage of your opportunity, you potentially have a chance to earn more playing time. So we're kind of forced into a situation where with Foley being out, we need some reinforcements on the defensive line. We've been shuffling some guys back and forth. We had to deal with Mario situation kind of on and off. But Tommy's gone in there and given us some good plays. He showed up again there the other day in the game on Sunday. So experienced players, been in the league. I mean, he was a fourth-round pick or whatever he was by the Browns there going back. So it's kind of bounced around. Roster, practice squad, was on our practice squad here for a little bit, still is on our practice squad. So we'll look at where we are roster-wise going into the week and figure out what makes the most sense relative to, who gives us the best chance to win on Sunday. Yeah.
At the end of the day against Tennessee, you look at it, it's a loss, but you look at so many big plays that were made throughout the course of the game, a lot of things that you can build on moving forward.
Yeah, that game's really emblematic of our season. So for their number of positives that took place in the game, but they're offset by the negatives. So we just have to figure out a way to maybe eliminate some of those negative things that we can control. The penalties, the turnovers, those are things that we can control. So going into the game, John and I, we talked about what were some of the keys, and those kind of came to fruition. In some senses that was good. In other senses, it kind of was a negative. It's the explosive plays on both sides of the ball. I mean, we gave up on any time you have explosive plays, regardless of the side of the ball that you're on, it's likely going to increase the chances of scoring drives taking place. So even going back in the Jacksonville game, they would hit some explosive plays. Brian Thomas, who we'll talk about here. So there's a number of positives, but it's kind of 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. So when you have those negative plays, we just have to figure out a way to eliminate those negative plays to put ourselves in a position where we can go ahead and finish the football game.
Something Marc and I talked about for a long time, but something that you brought up the other day, and it really just resonates in my head, Nick, and that's first down production. You keep talking about first down production on both sides of the ball. How do you think that's gone, both sides, offense, defensively, staying basically ahead of the sticks with good first down production? Whether it's 2, 3, 4 yards, getting to 2nd and 6 can be a good thing. How do you think that first down production's been on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, it's always a point of emphasis, and at times it's been pretty good, and other times it hasn't been good enough. So offensively, when you have 0 or negative yardage plays, then you're in 2nd and long, and then you're just trying to get back on track there to put yourself. And I think we've had amongst the most 3rd and longs in the league, however you categorize that. Yeah. And then defensively, there's a couple examples there. And again, the first play of the game, it was a situation where they run a keeper. We kind of have an assignment that we didn't execute, and they were able to create a chunk play. And then the play to Chig, the winning touchdown, was a first down play. Yep. It was the start of the drive. So those are always key plays. You want to try to get off to a good start, those P and 10 plays. So it's always a point of emphasis. And when you go through the league, it's funny, I was looking at that the other day here. The teams that are top of the league in first down production are some of the better teams, and we're kind of in the middle to the bottom. So it's about making incremental improvements in some areas. So I think first down production is going to enhance your overall ability once you get to 3rd down. So it's all tied together in the end.
Yep. Nick, why is it so hard? Just tell the audience, why is it so hard on special teams? Because I watch tons of football. We all do. And every time there's a punt, I'm holding my breath, no flags, because you get this illegal block in the back kind of thing going on. And it happens to a lot of teams all across the league and beyond. Why is that difficult?
Yeah, typically you see on the perimeter with the gunners, and a lot of times the gunners, there's a speed element. So if they defeat the vice or the block, on the right off the line of scrimmage, then you're sort of in a catch-up mode. Mm-hmm. Or if you don't move your feet laterally and stay in front of the gunner. Now, the gunners are trying to release. They got to either release outside, or if there's a vice, got to split them or go inside. And if you don't play with the right technique, then you're in a position where you're grabbing or you're holding, and you're not just playing with the proper technique. So a lot of plays go back to basic fundamentals: hand placement, foot placement, technique, running your feet on contact. Even on the offensive side of the ball, a lot of holding penalties, or when guys end up outside of the framework because their hands are too wide, or they don't run their feet on contact. So they're in good initial position, and the defender tries to X off, and then they flail, or they grab them, or you pull them down. So it's just things happen at a high rate of speed, so you have to be able to react. So that's where you have to trust your technique. And if you're out there specifically on the punt return team going against a vice, you have to hope that your teammate that's involved is also going to execute the technique the proper way. So you just see a lot of guys, even on kickoff return. So even though we've reduced the space because of the rules, so you defeat that initial block, you're either in a catch-up mode and you're out of position, then it's going to lead to potentially a negative play.
Speaking of kickoff returns, Dameon Pierce has given us kickoff returns the old way, the new way. Nick, what are your thoughts about him back there? Because we talked about it on the broadcast that he might be the perfect guy because he is such a difficult guy to tackle that if you don't get a good shot on him, he can bounce off and do what he did the other day. Your thoughts about Dameon being a kickoff returner, or maybe finding a really good role for him?
Yeah, he's really done a great job with those opportunities. Even go back to last year, like you alluded to, the kickoff return against Cleveland. So if a guy is good with the ball in his hands, sometimes you may just try him back there to see if he can handle it. And on kickoff returns, typically there's going to be some traffic element or traffic running where you're going to have to deal with some contact. So a guy that has balance, a guy that has strength, a guy that can break tackles. Not all running backs can handle that role of responsibility. Going back to my time in New England, we put Brandon Bolden back there, who had never handled the ball as a kickoff returner, but he had good size, he could handle the ball, he had a good running style, and he was able to get some positive plays. So you've had guys like Bolden, we've had guys like Deion Lewis, who is a different size than guys like Brandon or DP, but DP's done a really good job. And you have to have a sense or a feel for space. And then the play that he made the other day, it was really more just he was able to stay on his feet, keep his balance, and then he was able to kind of bounce it outside. And then Hutch and Boyd were actually able to finish their blocks. So, but we've gotten some explosive plays on kickoff returns, no question, and DP's done a good job with those opportunities.
When we return, the Shuffle with Jimmie Ward is coming up. We're back on Texans Playbook, and last Sunday, Jimmie Ward, the safety for the Texans, had a pick six in the second half. And earlier this season, he went one-on-one with Chase B in this part of the Shuffle.
Check this out, y'all. We are here back with another episode of The Shuffle. I'm your host, Chase B. You know what I'm saying? Avid Texas fan, you already know. And we are here with DB extraordinaire Jimmie Ward, man. How you feeling, bro?
Man, I feel great, man.
Yeah, what's the deal? Before camp, though, what was that looking like? What was summer like for you? Were you traveling? Were you more family-based? What was going on?
Both. Went to Alabama a few times. I was raised in Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah.
Went to the Midwest. I was born in the Midwest.
Wisconsin,
Milwaukee
right?
area, Racine.
So
yeah.
what's like the differences with those? I feel like that's like polar opposites for, especially weather-wise.
Yeah, definitely weather.
Yeah.
Food. Food is different. I'm saying there's some good food down south where Alabama, but
Yeah.
they're big on it's the base, so the Gulf, so they big on seafood. And Midwest, you kind of got a bunch of different foods. You got a big Italian group out there, so Italian food
True.
is the bomb. You got Portillo's, one of my favorite restaurants.
Know that, yep.
Cheese fries.
Yep.
Good dairy products because of Wisconsin got all them dairy farms, and it's the culture out there. I like both, but
Yeah.
not gonna lie, Chicago's up there with Houston with the food for sure.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I always say this, and obviously I'm from here. Do not cancel me on this, but I think that Chicago has the best food in the country. Just because, like Houston, you come here for a certain reason, right? It's a lot of Cajun food, like especially after Katrina and everything happened. We got this whole influx of people from Louisiana that really influenced all our seasonings and all our sauces and all that type of stuff. And we have amazing food. I definitely think we're number 2. But you go to Chicago, and they're just so good at everything. You know what I'm saying? Like they got jerk egg rolls. They have an Italian food, deep dish pizza, all this type of crazy. I just think Chicago's, they might have a little edge when it comes to like expertise when it comes to certain. But you can't go wrong with either one. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I tell people that all the time.
Yeah,
I say
exactly.
Chicago 1, Houston 2.
It's right there, and there's nothing wrong with picking either one. But yeah, so Jimmie, bro, you got here last year. Last year was our first season with the Texans, right? After spending a lot of time with the Niners. How's it been? Just just the whole adjustment, coming to a new city, new squad, and you was already named captain already last year, right? So
Yeah, that was that was different.
right.
The whole captain thing, I was like, golly. I was like, all right.
Yeah. what like just somebody outside looking in? What other like responsibilities does I have? Obviously on the field, you have certain obligations and responsibilities with that C on your jersey, but just off the field, like does that come with a whole different like energy of like responsibilities you have to take care of, or what?
I would say it doesn't, but then again, I feel like it's a bigger responsibility.
Yeah.
A lot of younger players looking up to you,
Right, true.
watching you all the time. So, and I just feel like the way how I go about my things and go about my work, I feel like I'm a natural
Right.
captain. So I just kind of try to do the right stuff.
Yeah.
That's basically, if I'm answering your question.
Not literally. And while you was at San Francisco, DeMeco was there, right? While you were there?
Yeah, Miko was there.
Yeah.
I think Miko was at first he was a position coach, and then he ended up getting a DC, and I watched him end up getting a head job. And
Right.
That's why.
And he been killing it ever since, man. Everybody seems like they love DeMeco around here, for real. We got to get him on the show one time.
Oh yeah, you gotta get Miko.
Yeah, got to. I was watching him while I was growing up watching the Texans. I was watching Miko, so we definitely got to have him on the show. But so when it comes to all these adjustments and all that, playing for different teams, different coaches, especially at DB, you might switch around a lot when it comes to, you might play cornerback, you might play free safety, strong safety. Do you have a preference when it comes to which one do you think you excel at the most, and which one is the most fun to play?
Oh man, I would say I wanted to play safety when I first got in. I didn't really know how to play corner, but somehow I won the job. So I was like, okay. So corner was the biggest challenge for me, but that helped me out overall game at safety. And when they put me at nickel, I played nickel in college, so I played safety and nickel at college. So really the funnest position is nickel.
Oh, really?
If they use you right, I would say
a lot of
safety
speed on the field.
Yeah, because you get the blitz, you get man coverage, you get zone coverage, and it's really like you're like a hybrid linebacker.
Right.
That's it. So I see,
for real.
Yeah, 5 in that position now. JP and JP, I feel like that's what he did in college.
Right. Yeah.
And like he's killing it. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to him right now.
No, for sure. No, yeah.
Like he's gonna have a big year.
He's flying around. Yeah,
he's gonna have a big year. For sure.
So let me ask you: sack or interception?
Interception.
Yeah, it's not even close.
No, not close. If it's a sack, strip sack.
Yeah.
All
right.
right.
Take it to the crib.
Okay, because you get a sack, you get a tackle,
right,
and you get a forced fumble.
Loading up the stat sheet.
Oh, and you pick it up and score. Oh yeah. Okay.
It's
so
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your go-to celebration this year? You got something in mind for if you touch the end zone?
Man, I gotta stop flipping in the end zone.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I seen that one. I think everybody's seen that one. I seen that one.
I might have a dance or two. I gotta think of something. I can't think of nothing
Man,
right
week
now.
one coming, man. It might happen, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna do something.
Yeah, for sure. What's the this last question about football, just per se, right now? What do you think like is the overall kind of like the tone of the defense right now? I feel like just even watching the Texans for the last couple of years, I feel like the tone has just switched, especially in the playoffs last year. I was just kind of looking like, oh, these it's aggressive. It's like it's a unit now. When before it kind of felt like individual players. Now it feels like it's a whole force of like the Texans play very aggressive, very on the ball defense. So have you noticed like the switch in the energy? Or?
Yeah, definitely. Physicality and just, having a group of guys back, well, majority of the group of guys back for the second year. So, you know, guys out there playing fast true. and we know where to be, and then we playing off each other. We added a few guys off of free agency in the draft. But, it follows suit. So when you got younger guys or guys that's coming from different teams, they watching the guys that been here and it's easy to this how he goes about it. This is what he sees and this is what he do. So it's just like plug in and play. And our 2s and 3s is just as good as the 1s.
Coming up after a quick timeout, we've got more of The Shuffle with Chase B and Jimmie Ward. We're back on Texans Playbook, and we're back with a second installment of The Shuffle with Chase B interviewing safety Jimmie Ward.
They sent me a note, man, that you actually wrote. I read a little bit of it too, but you actually wrote a nutrition book.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What year was that?
This is like 3 years ago. I started on it like 3 years ago.
Okay, and it's out now. It's published and everything.
It's out now.
What made you want to do that?
Just because I didn't know how to eat and what to eat when I was young.
Right, for real.
And I used to always try to gain weight.
A lot of Burger King and all that.
Yeah. So I used to try to gain weight, and because I was trying to get offers and stuff, and it was like, I need to put on weight.
That's true.
And really, I feel like your weight doesn't have to do anything with it. Like you're 15, 16, the weight gonna come. But it's about being strong. But besides that, I just wanted to teach kids, teach kids what I learned as I got older, because I didn't learn how to eat and what to eat until I started training for the combine.
Right, true.
And then I didn't get sleep, talking on the phone to the girls. I probably get a protein shake and put water in it. Couldn't afford a bunch of milk. And just knowing like how to eat like lean grill food, more lean meat, not too much red meat, chicken, fish, a bunch of rice and a bunch of fruits and vegetables, organic. If that'd be the best type of veg and fruit, more fresh. And so I just try to share that with the kids.
That's important, man. Especially now with all these, a lot of youth are having like heart problems and heart conditions that they don't even know where these things are coming from. It just, it literally isn't what they eat. And if you could prevent it, that would be a very important thing. And with adults as well. So I wanted to ask you if you could, because the book is called The Nutritional ABCs for Active Kids. If you had an adult's version of this book, what would you think adults need to know when it comes to certain ABCs of nutrition?
How to sleep.
Right, yeah, for real.
How much to eat.
Right.
Don't starve yourself. Like people thinking starving themselves is a proper way to losing weight. Now you still got to eat. You just need to up your veggies and up your fruits up. Just eat clean, and then just less meat. Less I think the protein that you're supposed to eat is supposed to be like the palm of your hand. And portion-wise. Portion-wise. And grains, too. Less grains. If you're trying to gain weight, you just got to eat more grains, more protein, more grains. So, and about sleep and then recovery, too. Like, when you're working out, you know, a lot of people be trying to, kill themselves in a workout, but, you're eating off. You got to do everything. You gotta have a proper recovery and a proper diet balance, for everything to work. You can't just do one of the three. You got to have all three.
It's all about the balance, man. And, check this out. If we was doing an adult version of the ABCs of nutrition, I got one letter we got to take out, man. We're taking this letter out. We're taking out the letter O. All right? All this Ozempic and all that, we're taking that letter out. We're just going to take the whole concept of that and just throw it away. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get healthy the right way. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, aside from that, bro, I got to ask you just some straight up just football questions.
Okay.
You've been in the league for a while. What is your favorite stadium to play in?
Ooh. Not gonna cancel me if I don't say Houston. I want to say always.
No, aside from here, it's all good.
Okay, always the home team. I want to be home, but
if
it's a away game, The environment?
Yeah.
Down the street. New Orleans.
Yeah.
That's just, man, I played there on a primetime game.
Yeah.
And the lights just went off. It was my first time.
Which year was that?
This was the year we went to the Super Bowl.
Right.
When I was playing for San Fran.
Mm-hmm.
And then the lights went off. I was like, dang, it's dark. Then all of a sudden, the lights just started flickering. And everybody's phone just started flickering.
Right.
And then they just, who they say
Right.
who they say this gonna beat them Saints.
Right.
And I'm looking, then it just, the highlights just start going and all fireworks. I'm like, all right, we got us a game.
Nah, the Superdome definitely got it, man.
Mm-hmm.
For real. I still haven't been to an actual football game in there. I gotta check one out. That shit is wild. What's your least favorite stadium to play in?
Lambeau.
Why is that? Just because it's old?
No, Lambeau.
Yeah.
It's got to be at a certain time. Lambeau in December, January, or February.
Right.
You can't feel your body.
Right.
You
for
go
real.
out there even in walkthroughs. As soon as you get off the bus, the first 3 minutes, your fingers and your toes go numb.
It's over with.
You can't even feel it.
What about Soldier Field? Is it the same way, or is it Lambeau a little bit different?
I've been playing in Soldier Field since I was in college, so
Okay,
it's not as bad. I think it gets kind of tough toward when it gets colder outside, but it's not as worse as Lambeau.
As Lambeau, even Buffalo not as bad.
I only went up to Buffalo one time.
Okay.
It wasn't cold, so.
That might be a different beast up there.
Yeah.
I be seeing them throwing the snowballs on. I'm like, I'm not visiting that after October. It might be over with for the Buffalo Stadium.
Hopefully, I don't know. You never know. I might end up playing in there one time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Aside from playing though, what's your favorite city division? I know we talked about New York a little bit earlier, and the Say Lesses of the world, and Pergola and all that. Is there a favorite place you just like to visit off the field?
Chicago.
Chicago still?
Chicago. Just because of the food, and I went to school up that way, and I got a lot of family members and friends from college.
Down the street.
Down the street. So it's Chicago. But other than that, I'm in the city where I want to be at.
Yeah, for real.
Houston.
Like,
so
you like it here?
Yeah.
You gotta love Houston, man. For real. After football, what do you think? We talked a little bit about nutrition. Would you see yourself coaching, a nutritionist coach, or just getting your whole, just kind of being an entrepreneur in that way, or what?
I thought about that. I may do a little bit in that field of work. Since I got my master's degree in football, so
exactly.
might as well stay around there. You know? So I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna have my hand in a few different pots.
We're going to the Super Bowl, so I'm saving up my coins so I can buy my Super Bowl ticket.
Yes,
so
sir.
I gotta be there for real. Appreciate you pulling up, bro.
Man, appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Hell yeah.
Up next on Texans Playbook, it's a happy Thanksgiving. We're back on Texans Playbook, and earlier in the week before Thanksgiving, the Texans got together with Kroger and gave away turkeys to some folks who needed it.
Today is turkey time with Texans. We're handing out 1,000 turkeys today to Houstonians in need. The players, Lady Texans, we're just excited to be here. And thanks to Kroger for sponsoring all of this and helping us with this today. It's a wonderful event.
Oh, it feels great, man. You never know, just a little gesture like this, a hug, a smile, kind words can go so far. And it's very, very special right now during this time with family.
You know what? I'm going to tell you, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, ma'am.
God bless you.
God bless you, ma'am.
So we continue to give back to the community. That's at the heart of who we are as an organization. And so to continue to be able to do that, especially this week during Thanksgiving, and hope that nobody goes hungry this Thanksgiving. That's our hope with handing out 1,000 turkeys. So that's why we're here today, and we're excited to be here today.
We sure do appreciate you checking us out here on Texans Playbook. We always love putting the show together for you. For Gardy Swingby, who did all the heavy lifting, I'm Drew Doherty, and we'll see you next time.